Hey everyone, this is JC from Team Empire, and today I will be doing the first impressions on today's Tuesday stream. The stream covered two different types of support, Wilista coming up in the Festival Collection 2023, and the new X-OverDress support that will be in set 10 that was seen in the anime. I'm going to start with the lyrical card pool because it's the thing I know the least about, but I'd like to give my input. So it was revealed that the new bosses will be new grade 3s for the 5 first ride lines of Lyrical, and today's first reveal was Wilista's new support. So starting with Wilista's new grade 3, we have Festa Magica Wilista, and she starts with a keyword called Dress Up, Prismagica Wilista, that says during this fight this is also treated as the mentioned card. So due to the keyword, I'm guessing that all 5 of the new grade 3s will have this. That way they count as their counterparts, so you're able to persona ride with them, but also so that you can use them in the ride line. Because I'm assuming that for most of these cards, you're going to want to replace the old units since they are a bit outdated at this point, especially Wilista. The rest of her skills say auto when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, costs discard 1 card from hand, choose 1 gem card from your soul or drop zone and add it to your hand. Then act on Vanguard Circle, once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1 gem card, and perform the following abilities based on the card name of the card Soul Blasted for this cost. If it was Everlasting Sapphire, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 unit cards from amongst them, call them to the rear and shuffle your deck. If it was True-Hearted Ruby, this unit gets power plus 15k until end of turn. So the last skill is very similar to the first Wilista, except for when you use Soul Blast Sapphire now, you don't have to discard the remaining cards that you didn't call, which is incredible because why did she even do that in the first place, the old Wilista? Like, it's one of the worst parts of her skill. So the fact that they fixed that means that this will feel more playable. And then that first skill, that on-play skill, will help you be able to keep recycling your gems. That way you always have either cards to put in soul, maybe that were in drop, or you're able to keep using the gem card that lets you draw cards, which is very, very strong as well. And then we're going to go on to the rest of her support, continuing with a grade 1 order. This order is called Crossing Illuma Rays, and it is a gem order that says continuous during this fight. This card is also treated as True-Hearted Ruby and Everlasting Sapphire. That's crazy. So basically, if you Soul Blast this card, you'll get both of Wilista's skills because you're essentially Soul Blasting both of the gems. You can play this card if you have a Vanguard with Wilista and its card name. Put this card to Soul, draw 1, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets power plus 5k until the end of turn, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it also gets the auto skill. When this unit attacks, costs Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 grade 3 card with Wilista and its card name, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. So the restand skill is pretty cool. You do have to have a Wilista in soul, so either from persona riding or from maybe some lyrical thing that I'm missing out on. But I think the biggest part of this is being counted as both gems. Maybe I'm missing out on some strong lyrical rear guard that would be good for restanding in this deck. But otherwise, I think this card is just really good for applying some pressure and then being able to get full value out of the new Wilista. Then we have one more card. It's a double rare that is named Full Marks for Exhilarating Energy Trixie. She says continuous rearguard circle. If you played a gem order this turn and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets power plus 5k. Then auto when this unit is placed on rearguard circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Wilista in its card name, put 1 card from your hand to the soul, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 grade 3 cards from amongst them with Wilista in their different original card names, reveal them and add them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal, draw 1. So this card seems pretty good. The weirdest part of its skill for me is that you reveal 2 grade 3s with different names. So I don't know if this is implying if it's good to play copies of old Wilista. since that's the only way you'd be able to add to. That's something I'm going to leave to the lyrical mains out there, but I'm guessing that's not going to be very strong. However, this card is very much like Cadwalla from Keter Sanctuary in that if you don't see something, you still get to draw a card. So you're not completely wasting a card in your hand to go to Soul. But yeah, all this is super solid, and it seems like all of the new ride lines for Lyrical, not ride lines, excuse me, the new grade 3 bosses for Lyrical are going to very heavily impact the play styles of these decks. But now we move on to my favorite part of the stream, and that is the X-OverDress support. Starting with the new double rare, a prayer dragon named Illuminate Equipped Dragon Grail Lumiere. He says, when this card becomes original dressed, cost Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards with Vairina in their card names, reveal them, add up to 1 of the revealed cards to your hand, discard the rest of the revealed cards, then shuffle your deck. So, one of the best prayer dragons, if not the best prayer dragon so far. Soul Blast 1 is basically free in the deck, especially since most decks are not going to play ball with this new wave of support. So Soul Blast means nothing. Being able to add cards to your hand to break even for anything that you had to call down is awesome. Adding both X-OverDress or overdress units that you can go into. This guy also helps with Clad in Prayer builds, like the order from set 9. That way you're able to search for more attackers, either overdress or X-OverDress, whatever you need. And then that second part of the skill going to drop actually benefits our new X-OverDress unit, which we'll get to in a second. This is an amazing card. It's an instant 4 of in the deck, and I basically think the deck is just going to run this and Strigolio now, since those 2 cards are going to get you what you need from your deck, and they're not going to, fiddle around and make you minus yourself for trying to make big columns. He's also a grade 1, which is something I appreciate, because if I'm making strong overdress units or X-OverDress units, sometimes I just need boosters to make those columns even more magic. So him being a grade 1 is much appreciated, because grade 2s in the back row just don't feel good in this deck. Last but definitely not least, we have the new X-OverDress unit. His name is Mirror Reflection Equip Mirrors Vairina. He says, auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle by X-OverDress, choose up to 2 cards with Vairina in their card names from your drop, put them as this unit's original dress. Then auto rearguard circle, when this unit in the X-OverDress state attacks, this unit gets power plus 10k until the end of battle. Then, cost, put an original dress of this unit with Vairina in its card name into drop, and perform either draw a card or countercharge 1. Holy crud, this card is incredible. It has completely revolutionized this deck's viability. First of all, being able to have one of those 2 very powerful options up to twice per turn is very strong. I'm very happy that this card is kind of like an Xyz monster from Yu-Gi-Oh! In that they're finally using original dress as cost, rather than always locking something behind Counterblast. You have a lot of versatility now in this deck, now that you have this card, and that you're able to either keep plussing to hand or countercharge. That way you're able to do more plays after your restands. It's just an incredible card. And I know I keep just saying incredible, but if you look on Twitter, on Facebook, or just online in general, everyone is nothing but appreciative for this card. And the new Prayer Dragon, Grail Lumiere, helps make sure that this guy is going to have material to go under him as original dress so that you can use his skill. So basically, the deck at this point is definitely going to play 4 copies of this card, and then run cards like Arcs. That way you can keep drawing cards. And then in my eyes, I also see Vils coming back into the deck. That way you can add your mirrors back to your hand and have big shield since he can't be targeted. This card is awesome, and I can see the deck going much farther now with a card like this. It's not tier 1, but it's so much more playable, and it provides something that I'm very excited about, which is deck building potential. Because having utility like this is what makes some of the best decks insanely good. So, hopefully the commentary was deep enough. I think I'm just like overwhelmed by the amazing card that this deck finally, deserved. And I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope you're just as excited for this card and for set 10 as I am. So thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe and be on the lookout for future content coming up with set 9 and 10.